Welcome back to the Cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is running into this critical area of support as the price has just now confirmed a new bullish divergence in the short term, which is already starting to potentially wear off as the price is also heading into the US election, just a matter of hours away now, while more liquidations are building on this Bitcoin chart, while Ethereum is now retesting this critical line on the chart and now also confirming a new bullish divergence, while Solana has also just now confirmed a new bullish divergence in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and right now we're still seeing that major bull market signal, especially here in the weekly Bitcoin RSI, because essentially we're seeing a major breakout in the weekly Bitcoin RSI above a massive descending line of resistance. And the last couple of times this has happened on this time frame in this Bitcoin indicator, we've seen a major bull run follow over at least the next few months, usually over the next 1 year approximately. But obviously during these larger bull runs, we can see short-term dumps or short-term pullbacks along the way up. So just keep that in mind. Obviously on smaller timeframes in the short term, from time to time, it's very normal to see the occasional dump or pullback even during a bull run. So just keep that in mind. A bull run doesn't mean 100% only bullish price action. It just means the trend on the larger timeframes is generally bullish. And so that is still the situation on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and on the 4-day time frame, we're still looking at a green super trend indicator, and on the 2-day time frame, we're still in this breakout here, trading above this line, which is currently sitting at just underneath $65,000. So for as long as we're doing all this, technically speaking, on the larger time frames, we're currently looking more bullish than bearish, despite short-term dumps that we see along the way. But with that being said, taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now we're continuing the rejection from this area of resistance right here in between around 72,000 to 74,000. So obviously that's still acting as very strong resistance as of right now. But as for support, we are just now retesting this major area of support in between around 66.7k to 68.3k. And this is based on a few different things. It's based on previous price action, so previous resistance, and also previous support currently acting as new support, and also the volume profile indicator, also known as the VPVI indicator, is showing a massive amount of traded volume in that price range, which is currently acting as support. So this is definitely a critical level of support to pay attention to. And if we were to see a break back below around 66.7k, for example, so below this local low based on the daily candle closes, then in that case we could likely see a drop back down towards around 64,500 as the next support. And so that is the situation on the daily time frame right now. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at just the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, the imminent short term here, technically speaking, we've just now confirmed a new bullish divergence with lower lows confirmed in the price in the candle closes and higher lows confirmed in the 2-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is obviously a bullish divergence, which means most likely we're going to see either a slight bullish relief or just some choppy sideways price action like this over the next couple of days, potentially, as the most common outcome, the most likely outcome from a bullish divergence. But obviously this bullish divergence is not the only thing that's going to be happening over the next 1 to 2 days. Obviously we have that election coming up, which could basically change the direction of the market here depending on the outcome. And so obviously we still have to wait and see about that, which I'll talk about that again in just a moment. But first, if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take most of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make your Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a 500 USDT position airdrop. So basically a free $500 trade as your first trade over on Bybit, but that is only if you use the link below this video to make your Bybit account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there's also Bitnex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitnex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you might not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitnex. So I'll also leave a link to Bitnex down below this video, and if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus, and only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitnex exchange forever. whatsoever, but that is only if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account and deposit on that account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, once again, you might as well check this out. Links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we have some more liquidity building to the downside, sitting in between around 67,000 to 67.3k, give or take. And we recently took out a bit of liquidity right here, which was sitting closer towards around 67.6 to 67.8k. And in case you're new to all of this, basically when the price takes out these areas of liquidity, that essentially means long positions are getting liquidated. If it's liquidity that's sitting below the price, that means longs are getting liquidated, which is bearish. Obviously, that means potentially a long squeeze, which can add basically more fuel to the fire when we're talking about the bearish direction here. That can add to the bearish momentum if long positions are getting liquidated sometimes. And the opposite would be a short squeeze. If we go to the upside and take out a major area of liquidity to the upside, that would mean liquidating short positions, also known as a short squeeze, which is very bullish, adding to the bullish momentum if we're going to the upside to take out upside liquidity, also known as liquidating short positions. And right now we have a lot of liquidity building to the upside, starting at around 73,000 and going up towards around 73.7k. So in that price range right there, we have a lot of liquidity to pay attention to. And something else that we also need to pay attention to is, of course, the US election, which is a big deal for really financial markets and a bunch of other stuff. But financial markets in particular, like crypto or stocks, for example, will likely play out some volatility, likely react to the outcome of this election. And if you watched my last video here on the channel, I basically explained how we should be expecting some volatility either way over the next few days or so, especially while we're waiting for that outcome, because obviously the election is in a matter of hours from now, but it might be, say, a couple of days or so before we find the results. And so while there's that uncertainty in the market, usually that basically results in a little bit of short-term bearish price action here while there's uncertainty, because basically uncertainty creates risk. And when people have more risk on the table, they basically take a little bit off the table to basically reduce their risk. And so I'll not be surprised that while we're waiting for the result of the election, we might see perhaps a little bit of a sell-off here in the short term. Just potentially expect that as a likely scenario heading into the outcome of the election. And then once we get that outcome, depending on the winner, obviously we might see different results in how the market would react here. And so a lot of people in the crypto market expect a bullish outcome if Trump wins and a bearish outcome if Harris wins. And that's because of a couple different reasons. First of all, Trump has obviously spoken at a Bitcoin conference and has been speaking quite positively about Bitcoin and crypto. Whereas Harris, of course, with the current administration, Gary Gensler is in charge of the SEC, which has been very, very bearish for a lot of altcoins out there, a lot of crypto. And so just for example, due to those reasons right there, a lot of the crypto market is currently expecting a bullish outcome if Trump wins and a bearish outcome for crypto if Harris wins. So just keep that in mind. But while we're waiting for the outcome, expect a bit of risk off in the market as there is some uncertainty right now. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still trading within this massive sideways price range in between this area of support and this level of resistance. So over the last 1 day, not a lot has changed on this chart right here. But if we're taking a look at the 12-hour time frame, right now the price has broken to the downside below this ascending line of support, with candle closes below the ascending line of support, but not below this area of support, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But right now we're currently retesting this ascending line of support, which should technically now act as new resistance now that we've broken below that level. So technically speaking, we should be finding some resistance at around 2480 to 2490 based on previous support, now acting as new resistance. But with that being said, even though we broke below the ascending line of support, which is a bearish signal in the short term, we're still hanging on to this area of support right here, which was previous resistance, now acting as new support once again, as we also saw previously. And that's sitting in between around 2440 to 2470. So in that price range right there, we're currently finding support. And then this previous ascending line of support right here is now acting as resistance. And so I'll not be surprised if the price kind of bounces around for a little bit in between this support and this resistance just in the imminent short term here. And obviously in the short term, it would be a bullish signal if we can break out back above this ascending line right here. So breaking out back above around 2490, because in that case, we'll likely see a continued move up towards this next area of resistance in between around 2550 to 2580. And of course, we still have significant resistance in between around 2.7k to 2.8k. 2.8k. And now if we were to continue this pullback right here further to the downside and actually confirm a break with candle closes below 24.40, then in that case we'll likely see a move down towards these local lows back down here. So essentially back into the 2.3k price range, more on the lower side of that price range, closer towards 2.3k. But if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 2-hour time frame, right now history is still essentially repeating because we've just confirmed a new bullish divergence on the 2-hour Ethereum chart, very similar to what we saw back here around 1 to 2 weeks ago, give or take. And so essentially we saw an overbought signal resulting in a pullback in the price, very similar to what we saw last time. And then we saw an oversold signal resulting in a slight bounce in the short term, as we saw in both of these cases here. And then we actually continued with another bit of a pullback later on over the next couple of days, which formed a lower low in the price, while the RSI formed a higher low, also known as a bullish divergence. And then we just confirmed that bullish divergence right now, very similar to what we saw back here. So if history continues to repeat, we're still seeing very similar price action right now to what we saw back here. And if this continues to repeat, we could see a bit of a bullish relief right now and maybe over the next few days. But once again, this time around, what we did not see last time was, of course, a US election. We have the US election this time around, basically over the next few days. That could change the market. So just keep that in mind as well. This is not the only thing that is affecting the price right now. But with that being said, taking a look at Solana on the daily time frame, and right now the price of Solana is testing this area of support in between around 159 to 163. And honestly, things are not looking too great, at least as of right now, because we are showing signs of bearish momentum here, basically just non-stop red candles and not many bounces from this support. We had an initial bounce, but so far that has already pretty much failed and we've come back down into this area of support. So basically we need to hold above around 159 in order to have basically any chance of remaining bullish here when we're talking about the larger price structure. Obviously in the short term, we've already been bearish due to this bearish divergence, as I've been warning about for some time now in the short term. But on the daily time frame, technically speaking, while we're still holding above this area, this can still remain in a larger bullish price structure, forming higher lows and higher highs. But the moment we see a daily candle close back below around 159, in that case, obviously that would be a bearish confirmation signal on the daily time frame, which would be a breakdown of the bullish price structure and potentially a trend reversal signal on the daily time frame, not just in the short term here, talking about a matter of hours or days, but more like a matter of days or weeks. We'll likely remain bearish for potentially a couple of weeks here if we break below 159. And so in that case, the next support to watch out for would be sitting at around 150, give or take. And below 150, we also have this major area of support down here in between 137 to 142. So that will likely be coming next if we first confirm a break below 159. And as for resistance, obviously we still have this significant area of resistance right here in between around 183 to 187, as I've been warning about basically every day since before we saw this rejection. So basically I warned about this rejection right here before it happened. And if we're zooming into the short term on the 4-hour time frame, obviously this bearish divergence over the last week, give or take, has been playing out pretty much perfectly in the form of a short-term pullback, which is one of the most likely outcomes from a bearish divergence. We usually end up seeing either a pullback or just some choppy sideways price action. So basically no real bullish price action after a bearish divergence. But what we are now seeing on the 4-hour time frame is a new bullish divergence with lower lows in the price in the candle closes and higher lows currently forming, and at least one higher low actually confirmed in the 4-hour Solana RSI, which technically confirms this bullish divergence. But as of recording this video, this is getting very close to already invalidating, because we have this area of resistance that was previous support right here and is now acting as new resistance because we've just broken below this area. And as always, if we break below support, technically speaking, that becomes new resistance, as we've seen perfectly just play out right now with a break below this line of support, this area of support, I should say, in between around 162 to 164. And basically we bounced from the next area of support down here in between 157 to 159, which is still acting as support right now, that area right there. And then we bounced back up towards this previous area of support, and we're now seeing a rejection from this area. So for now, that is the support and resistance to pay attention to in the short term. We're currently in a bit of a sideways price range in between this area of support and this area of resistance. And even if we were to break back above around 162 to 164, that area of resistance, in that case, we do have some resistance at closer towards around 167.50 and major area of resistance in between 171 to 173. And obviously that significant area of resistance on the daily time frame in between 183 to 187. So for now, just pay attention to a possible bullish divergence here. But if we break below this low right here in the candle closes, or if we see a breakdown below this previous low in the RSI, that would invalidate this bullish divergence. And Solana will likely follow similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing, for example, not the exact same, but similar price action. So for example, if Bitcoin has a major pump to the upside, Solana will also likely play out some bullish price action. And if Bitcoin has a major crash, Solana will also likely crash. So just keep that in mind as well. Pay attention to what Bitcoin is doing if you want to know what is also likely for the rest of the crypto market on average. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.